Hello and welcome back to this little channel. Glad you come back. Glad you're here. Anyway, as traditional, have a look underneath the video where it'll show the timestamps of the various parts of the cooking process. So if you want to avoid the blither, move on to ingredients and make it and all the other stuff. So anyway, for those who are still here, what is today is blither. As is traditional, I like a little bit of blither, waffle, tattle, whatever wonderful word you can find in the thesaurus for talking rubbish for about a minute. Today's talking rubbish for about a minute is a very valuable blither. Today is the wedding anniversary of myself and my wife, and it's 17 years. It's fantastic. She is an amazing woman, and I'm so very, very lucky. And 17 years has just flown by, and there's going to be at least another 17, 20, 27, 37 years before we finally, get buried in the ground and shit. So yeah, wonderful, wonderful, amazing woman. She's also doing Everest Base Camp on Wednesday. So it's going to be 2 weeks of walking to get up to see the wonders that is Everest. One thing that I'm never going to be able to do because I can't walk much anymore. I have a poorly foot. Anyway, yeah, blither over. She's a wonderful woman. I am truly blessed. Right, what's today's recipe? It's a thing rather than a dish. It's a thing. It's a sauce. It's a stuff. It's bacon jam. Let me say that again. Bacon jam. Two things in the same sentence that you wouldn't normally think of going together, but when you start thinking about it, you go, oh, bacon jam. Yes, it's great. It's great for burgers, great for spreading on toast. And it's just, well, bacon jam. Takes a long time. It's well over an hour to make this. So you've got to be really, really patient. You're essentially caramelizing and then jamifying things. Not that it doesn't take quite so long as making a normal jam, which is hours. This is very much an hour or hour and a half-ish. But it's such a beautiful thing. Bacon jam. Let's get on with it. And what is on today is board of goodness. So we have around half a kilo of bacon. You can use lardons or other types of really posh bacon, should you so choose. I had some cooking bacon in the freezer waiting for quiches and stuff like that, so I'm going to use that. About half a kilogram. We got one onion, medium sort of size onion, couple of cloves of garlic, about 100 ml of freshly brewed coffee, 85 grams of a brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, 2 tablespoons of cider vinegar, and a generous tablespoon of a decent whiskey. Some of the recipes call for bourbon. I've got a nice Macallan in the cupboard. So I think that's about it. It takes a while, this dish, so be patient. Let's go. So cut your bacon up as small as you can get it. I've allowed myself a lump or two, but the rest of it is quite small. If you're using bacon lardon, it doesn't really matter because they'll already be small and cubed. If you're using good slices of bacon, then chop them up with some scissors. Anyway, this first part of the process, I'm going to thoroughly brown and thoroughly cook the bacon, so it's going to take at least 25 minutes, this part, at least. The idea is to get it crispy. Not all of this will crisp up, but as close to crispy as you can get it. So 20-25 minutes to start with. So we're about 25 minutes in. If you were using lardons, they'd be an awful lot darker than this. And as I'm using pieces of different sized bacon, that is good enough for the first stage. So we're going to get the bacon out, let it sit to one side, And what's going in there? Onions. And these are going to cook for about the same length of time, 20-25 minutes at least, till they start to caramelise. I'm going to turn the heat off a little bit, and whatever juice has been let go from the bacon, put that back in, give that a good shake, and bacon to one side. So, caramelise your onion. Let's start with 15 minutes, because we're going to put the garlic in then. So 15 minutes. And at about halfway through the caramelisation in with the chopped garlic, and continue cooking this for at least another 10 minutes. Add a little water from time to time. You don't want the garlic to burn, because burnt garlic is horrible. So our onions are heading rapidly in the direction of caramelised. So let's get the bacon back in, and whatever juices were left in the bowl, turn it down to a low heat. We're going to add the 2 tablespoons of cider vinegar, the 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, generous tablespoons, the 1 tablespoon of whiskey, generous tablespoon of whiskey, the 80 odd grams of brown sugar, which doesn't want to come out of the packet very quickly, and the 100 ml of coffee. Now this is going to be the low and slow bit. So there's going to be another 20 minutes at least, I would say, till all that nicely cooks in and starts to settle down and reduce down to what would be approximately the jam. There'll be one final bit, so don't expect a jamness straight away. But yeah, we're going to cook that down for 20-25 minutes. Taste along the way just to see if it's all right. And how you know it's finished is because the sugar is starting to go all treacly underneath. So it doesn't need cooking any longer. Let it cool. And you really do need to let it cool before you put in your little mixer thingy majigamabob and make it to a sort of rough bacon puree, well, jam really. So right, we'll wait for that to cool down now. Back in a minute. And so about 20 minutes, half an hour later, it's all nicely cooled. So bung it in your blender thing. Probably would have been better if I had a slightly bigger blender. But that'll do. And that That's gorgeous. That is bacon jam. What I'm probably going to do is add a little bit more maple syrup to make it a little thinner. But that, oh, spread on a burger bun before you put a burger on. That's fantastic. So, yay. Enjoy. Bye.